Okay, in compliance with Chapter 231 of the Open Public Meeting Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice has been given to all members of the governing body, the local source, and the Westfield Leader, the two newspapers designated to receive such notice. This notice is also posted on the Borough Hall Bulletin Board as well as on our website. There may be official action that may be taken tonight. Let's start with a salute from the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America
and to the
and to
republic
the republic
for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the first thing that we have are some reorganization appointments. The planning board.
Roll call, please, Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry, roll call. No, I can tell everybody, all members of council are on. John Post, Martha, Glenn Mortimer, Matt Deanna, and Frank Masella, and Joe Giannuzzi are all on.
Jill.
I think I mentioned Jill already.
Yeah.
Jill, good. Okay, so now let's start with the reorganization appointments. The planning board, it looks like we're set there. The Board of Health, Elsa Jackson, her term has expired and she has indicated that she does not want us to renew her board membership. So we're going to need somebody for the Board of Health. The library board, for those of you that don't know, Clark Lansdowne has resigned, so we have to appoint someone for his seat. And Nancy Caffrey has also decided that after 25 years of working on the library board that she's not going to continue. I have one person already for the library board. I'm going to be speaking to another person. So if anyone else has anyone that's interested in the library board, please let me know and I will contact them also. We also have the local ethics board, which consists of 3 Republicans and 3 Democrats. Jim DeRose moved out of town, so we need a replacement for a Democrat. And Jay Kelk is does not want to continue, so we need to replace him with a Republican. So if anyone has anyone that they think is interested, I can tell you, I don't remember the last time that the local ethics board met. I don't know if they've ever met in my 25 years. Keith, you've been involved on it, and Glenn.
Couple of times, that's it.
Okay, so if anyone has anyone interested in any of those appointments, you need to let me know about that. Okay, next we have budget transfers. Jill, you're going to let us know what those are going to be?
Yeah, I'll mail them by the end of the week.
Okay.
So
Do
far,
you have any idea what they're going to be now?
yeah, I have 2 small ones. One for recreation operating budget and one for the DCRP.
Who? DCRP?
Yeah, that's the defined contribution retirement program for the part-time people.
Okay. All right, so next we have a tax overpayment refunds. Jill, I guess that's Jill.
Right. Well, today was the last day of the tax quarter. There are quite a few, mostly made by the banks. So again, I'll get that to you by the end of the week.
Also overpayments, nothing, no tax judgments or anything like that?
Nope, nothing unusual.
Okay. All right, so next is the release of the performance guarantee escrow to Bavella's on 22, Bavella's 22 Real Estate Group. I see a memo from Teresa Snyder of the Planning Board Secretary, which went to Teresa Snyder, Martha, Jill, Cheryl Coleman, and Linda Farrar of Bavella's from Mike Disco, indicating that the Borough of Mountainside has received a request to return the site improvement bond for the above referenced project. The applicant received the CO in April of 2018. Site work must be completed and approved prior to release of CO. See attached copy. And Mike takes no exception to return the performance guarantee and escrow bonds. So we're going to be passing a resolution to we fund it, according to what I see here, the amount is $4,332.24. Anyone have any questions? Okay. I guess, Joe, you're the next one up here on the body worn camera maintenance contract. Joe, oh, he's connecting.
If he can't hear, Paul, that's just a renewal of our body worn cameras.
I
It's a
thought it was
maintenance.
actually something different. There was some other glitch in the
Yeah, it was just,
in the contract.
it was going under the New Jersey state bid contract, I believe, and for whatever reason, they changed it to a different type of a procurement agency. So we just have to change that. But it's for the 5-year maintenance contract for the police body worn camera hardware.
It's just a normal maintenance contract, so.
Hey, Paul, I think Joe's trying to get on.
Oh, Chief Giannuzzi is on.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's a 5-year maintenance contract. It will provide us with a brand new body camera for each officer. Each time we get a new camera, they're better. The video is clearer. It also includes the software licensing and the storage of the video.
Was there a change in the price by moving over to a different, I guess it's a contract than the one we had?
I believe the price stays the same. It was just that the co-op or the contract that it was quoted under is no longer valid. That purchasing avenue is no longer valid.
Okay, so it's the same price, just we're getting it through a different co-op.
Right.
Correct.
Okay, anybody have any questions on that?
No.
No questions? Okay, so I think 6 and 7, we're going to talk about an exec. So that brings us to 8, water to the Levi Quarry House. I did speak to Mike Disco about that this afternoon. He says it's really up to the water company as to how the water is brought to the Levi Quarry House. There's 2 options. It can come in off of Route 22, or it can come in off of New Providence Road. I believe the Hatfield House brings it in off of New Providence Road. I was asking him about if there's any way that the Levi Quarry can hook into the Hatfield House. He says, in all likelihood, the connection at the Hatfield House is very small because they don't have a lot of water usage over there. So he doesn't think it would be adequate to continue it and bring it to Levi Quarry. So he says it's really a call for the water company to make as to which way they want to deliver the service to the Levi Quarry House. So Mike, I think, is going to contact them and find out which way they want to go. I would imagine New Providence Road is probably a lot easier than coming across the parking lot at the library into Levi, to get to Levi Quarry House. Certainly that would disrupt the parking lot if they had to do that. They could probably do it underground from Route 22. But that's
and I think, Paul, we have to consider that there are, I think there's some repaving issues for the library, so they want to do that before it's all repaved as well.
Correct. If they choose to go to 22, or that's the best route, it would have to be coordinated with the library paving, which, according to Mike, apparently will be one of the next grants we're looking for within the next year or two. And needs to say we'd want to do it before that paving, if that's the route.
Yep.
Anything else, Rachel, on that?
Nope.
No? You comfortable over there?
I'm comfortable, yes, and I think they'll be comfortable. They just really want to get, some water there, so they have a toilet and a sink. It's not even a full kitchen, so I think they'll be very pleased when we help them get that done. So thank you.
Okay. So, the Christmas tree lighting is the next thing on the agenda. I'm not sure how we can even, have it this year. with I guess we might be able to stay under the outdoor limit, which I think is 500 now. I think I would have some concerns about the Girl Scouts and doing their Christmas carols, also selling any kind of products out of the rescue squad for the Historic Society. So I at this point, I think, you know, the best I think we're gonna do is have a virtual one where I go and light the tree. I don't know what else to do. I don't know if anybody wants to reach out to the Girl Scouts and see if they're even interested in doing the Christmas caroling this year.
Reach out for the Girl Scouts to see if they want to do caroling, but I think that would be the extent of it if we had anything at all.
No sale. I don't think we can sell any products or anything
No.
like that. And certainly I don't think we want a little kid sitting on Santa's lap.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
So I don't really think we have much choice but to handle it in that fashion. If something changes between now and, what is it, usually the first Saturday in December, Frank?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so that's
Like December 5th or something like that.
it's probably like 3 weeks away, so 4 weeks.
But Paul,
So-
would you still have Santa come in on the fire truck? Maybe we could have Matt film it, or I don't know.
Listen, I have no problem with that.
Okay.
I don't know what he'd do when he got there.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't think he wants me sitting on his lap.
No.
How about if you had Santa, how about if you had Santa go around town on the fire truck on the day we light the Christmas lights?
I think they do something with the fire truck as it is now, so I don't know.
Well, with the presents, do you think they'll still have the presents when you have the surprise Santa come
I don't,
for presents?
You know what? Maybe we should reach out to the fire department to see what they're doing
Okay.
and then go from there because I don't know. Renee, do you know what they're doing this year?
No, we've been discussing other items, not that one for sure.
I know. I know.
all right,
A
well,
lot of
That's
other
what I'm
items,
gonna let them-
Renee, she'll talk to Anthony, okay?
I'll talk to him about that.
Okay.
But just so I clarify, we're not doing the Christmas lighting?
I think what we are talking about is probably doing it on some kind of virtual level where at least we can film and live stream the lighting of the tree. Possibly if the Girl Scouts want to do some kind of remote caroling, if they want to do it there and we can spread them out, certainly, I would be up for that. But other than that, I can't.
What would be wrong with having the public there? I don't understand.
Yeah, I kind of don't agree. I mean, I think that with the public spreading out, as long as I think we should wait and see what happens as it gets closer.
I don't have a problem with the public being there at all.
Mhm.
I just think we have to keep, I think the limit now is at 250 or 500. Matt, do you know, Deanna?
500.
500?
Mhm.
I don't think there's 500 people there.
I think it's still 500.
I guess maybe we'd have to do something to make sure that people are more than
We've had
six
close to 500
feet
people there
apart.
almost, right? We've never had.
No, I don't think so.
No.
I mean, I think if people don't want to go, they don't have to go. But if I think it's kind of a,
I
fun
think
thing.
it all hinges on what the Girl Scouts want to do.
Mhm.
If they want to do their Christmas caroling, then it makes sense. If somebody in the public wants to go, that they should go. If they don't, watching me flip the switch, I don't think it's going to be a big, attraction.
Mhm.
But we're not going to have the selling of cookies,
Paul?
correct, Paul?
I don't
Yeah.
think, I don't think we can do that.
Okay.
So I'll reach out to the Girl Scouts and see how they feel about the caroling.
Okay. And then if they do it and we want to have the Santa come across on 22 or have them ride
Yeah.
around town the day we do it, that's sort of up to the police department. So Renee,
that'd
you're
be
going to
nice.
check on that?
I'll talk to Anthony.
Okay. And if the public wants to come, the public can come, but we'll have to set up barriers or cones or something to separate the people. Matt will figure that out.
Yeah.
No problem. I'll figure it out.
Okay, so the next one is this special emergency appropriation for the municipal pool. I met with Jill and Martha and Glenn, and I'll let Jill, I think Jill actually put out a memo.
Yeah.
So Jill, why don't you explain what, how that's gonna work and why you think it's best we do that?
Sure. So what happened is the state is allowing the municipalities to do a special emergency if they have any shortages of revenues or extraordinary expenses. So, for the municipal budget, everything seems to be fine, but for the pool revenue, we anticipated between the fees and the revenue, $293,000. We collected about 75,000. So we have a big shortfall in the pool revenue. And for those that don't know, the revenue has to match the expenses. So what you can do is the state is allowing you to do an emergency and to realize the revenue in full and raise it beginning 2022 in 5 budget years rather than raising it all at one time in the current fund budget next year. So most of the, like I said, most of the towns in Union County are not doing it for the operating budgets, but most of the towns are doing it who opened up a pool or parking utilities where there was very limited revenue.
And Jill, as I understand it, is the reason they want to start it in 2022 is they're concerned about what the shortfall might be next year. And if there is a shortfall, we can include it in that 5 years.
Right, that's what I was told. I sat through a seminar that the state gave, and that is what they explained. And at any given time, 2022 forward, we can satisfy the emergency, right away, spread it out. It's up to the municipality, but with so much uncertainty, it seems better to, spread it out over the 5 years rather than to absorb it in 1 year in the municipal budget.
So the alternative though, Jill, would be to take the 200 or something thousand out of surplus
Right, but the other.
in one shot.
Right, and the other real concern is that if we don't do the emergency, the fund balance for the pool will practically go down to nothing. And we anticipate every year fund balance to balance the budget. So if you don't do the emergency, like I said, you're gonna really have no fund balance to run the pool. And that's one of the more important reasons why, you have to consider this.
And is there any kind of bonding that we have to do with Steve Rogard or anyone else in order to accomplish this?
No, the bonding is optional. We have to apply to the state. The auditor is suggesting ticking the box off that you're gonna bond for it, but in our particular case, I don't feel we need to bond for it at all. I think we'll be fine.
Okay. All right, anybody have any questions of Jill about that? We all knew there was going to be a shortfall, but at least we had the pool open. It seemed like it was a big success for the people that did utilize the pool. So I think it was a good decision back when we made it. So
Yes, that's great.
Okay, so the next, I guess this is you, Matt, the bid recommendation for the janitorial services.
Yeah, so in the past 10 years or so, we were going out for quotes for the cleaning services on a yearly basis. This year, we decided that the current contract ends January 31st, 2021. We decided that we would go out to bid to get a longer term contract. So we went out to bid for a 3-year contract. We received 4 bids. John Post firm did review all these bids, and my recommendation is the lowest bidder to be hired. It's Cleaning Service of Hudson Valley in the amount of $21,600 per year for 3 years. So it's $21,600 each year from January 31st, 21 to 24.
And that's not who we've used in the past.
That is not who we used in the past. Our
And
current
is this-
company came in second.
Does this include all the COVID sanitizing and disinfecting that we think we're gonna need?
Yes.
And have we gotten any kind of recommendations or reviews from these people to make sure that they're a responsible company?
We have not, we could check into that. I don't know if their bid specs had any local places that use them, but we can definitely look into that.
John, if we determine that they, based upon their track record in other towns, that they're not a quote responsible bidder, can we reject them and go to the second lowest bid, which was the
Yes.
company we used last year?
Yes.
So I think it would behoove us, Matt, to go out and see if we can't check with some of these other towns to make sure that they did an adequate job. I think we need to focus in on the COVID disinfecting and protocols that, I'm sure that was part of the bid specs. But to make sure that towns were happy with what they were doing, okay?
Okay, I will reach out to them.
Got anybody have any questions or comments on that?
No.
Okay, so next we have Resolution 123, 2020, which is a insertion of revenue. Jill, you want to just give us a little explanation on that, and then we're going to ask somebody to move that?
Sure. This is the Union County CARES Act. When we initially applied for the CARES Act, that was before the pool was opened up, because that's when the deadline was. And after we opened up the pool, we realized that the pool was going to be utilizing quite a bit of the CARES Act money. So we met and we came up with an additional request for 77,000, I think the number is.
Yeah.
What was the prior award that we got before?
The
Keith,
first,
you know.
yeah, the first award was $200,000. So this will add to the 200,000, and we'll have 277,000 of Union County CARES Act money to use.
And the 200 has already been put in insertion of revenues?
Yes, it has.
Okay. All right, so I need somebody to make a motion for this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Second, okay, poll the council.
Councilwoman Andre? Councilwoman Andre? You're muted. Yes. Councilman Dierkes?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pacifico?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Okay, next we have a resolution 124-2020. John, you want to just give us run through a quick overview on this before we make a motion on it?
Sure. The PBA had filed a grievance claiming that in the grievance that members of our police department were working at ranks that were higher in terms of responsibility and duties than the actual ranks that they held, and that this had gone on for a considerable period of time, and that the members who were in that category should be paid for the rank at which they were actually performing rather than the lower rank that they actually held. And so in the course of the grievance and over the time that this grievance had been pending, there have been discussions that resulted in a recommended settlement after discussions between Art Thibault, our labor attorney, and Len Shiro, the attorney for the PBA. And the discussions resulted in an agreement. The agreement was circulated to the governing body I think it was last Friday's packet or the one before that. And the question is whether the council wants to approve that settlement of the grievance. There is one change, as I mentioned in the email I sent just a bit earlier tonight. After Deanna reviewed the resolution that would approve the settlement agreement, she suggested that it might be better if we included in the resolution that's up for council's consideration tonight the fact that this settlement would not be precedential or set any kind of a precedent or a prior practice going forward in terms of the borough's relationship with the PBA. I thought that was a valuable suggestion and made a modification to the resolution tonight, which I then circulated to everybody. So that would be the resolution that's up for consideration tonight.
Okay, so unless somebody has any questions, we're going to need a motion to, for this resolution to approve the settlement.
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
Okay, let's poll the council, please.
Councilwoman Andre?
Yes.
Councilman Dierkes?
No.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pacifico?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
No.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Okay, so now that we've passed the resolution, I guess, Joe, you're going to be implementing the promotions as soon as possible.
Correct. I'll speak to Mr. Post about that, and we'll get working on that tomorrow.
Okay. The next thing on the agenda is I received from the New Jersey Department of Health a COVID safe community pledge. It was actually initiated originally out of Princeton. I did forward it to Megan Avalon for her review. I believe all of you should have received a copy of it. Megan thought that it was a great idea and it was something that we should, you know, propose to the community as a COVID safe community pledge. So unless anyone opposes that, I think that we probably just need some kind of motion, John, to adopt something like this, or do we need a resolution?
I think a motion would do it, Paul.
Okay, so if anyone has any changes they might want to add or anything else, if not, we'll just put it on to our letterhead. We'll do it as a COVID safe community pledge. And basically what it is asking the community to pledge to do whatever they can to help, you know, stop the spread, do social distancing, all the things that we need right now. So I can also, I guess at this point, it might be a good time to report. I did speak with Megan Avalon over the past 2 days, and she advised me that in Mountainside only, there was 11 cases out of, since Halloween, there's been 11 cases out of Governor Livingston High School, which they are in the process of investigating. There was also 2, what she called secondary cases that came from the high schoolers. I believe one was a sibling and one may have been a parent. She also advised me that Annie McNair, who is, I believe, a county health officer that covers Berkeley Heights, reported to her that there were 20 Berkeley Heights Governor Livingston students that also tested positive. That 8 of them claimed that they were associated with the party that occurred. So, you know, that's a fairly significant amount, especially of high schoolers. I have asked John to look at the potential of putting together an ordinance that we might be able to use to try to stop these small social gatherings, especially indoors. There is a couple of things that he's looking at to make sure that we can do it, that we're not prohibited because of the executive order and the attorney general's statement that came out about enforcing executive orders. So he's taking a look at that, and we'll see if we can put something out there that, we can use to, help combat these types of social gatherings. I can't stress enough that we really need to continue to use common sense. Parents must not host these kinds of parties. Students must not attend these types of parties, and parents should not permit their children to attend them. They're causing a lot of positive tests in not only Mountainside, but in Berkeley Heights. And there's going to be probably a ripple effect, which I'll probably get in the numbers that I usually get on Friday. So we need to stay the course here. We need to wear masks, practice social distancing, and not have these kind of indoor social gatherings that, will cause more positive tests. So I think in the public session next week, I talked with John and Martha, and I also mentioned it to Rachel, that I think Martha has, with respect to us approving the executive minutes that surrounded the Stinner litigation, that Martha is going to be separating the executive minutes, and she's only going to call the roll for those council people that were actually in attendance at the meeting. She's not going to call the roll. She's not going to call everybody. So someone who was not at the meeting does not have to abstain, because we have that whole issue of abstaining with our rules. So we're going to not get around that, but make sure we recognize that by Martha only calling the roll for those people that were actually present at the executive session. Okay. I think that that's all that I have. I guess, Martha, do we have anything to do with the applications, the renewal of the COVID-19 expansion of the premise permits for the ABC?
Yes,
Do they do that through us? And if they do,
yes,
has anyone applied?
yes. They go through Posse, which is the database where they renew their licenses every year. So this is actually a permit. And so far, Arirang and Echo Tap are the only two who have applied. And I've endorsed their application. Joe, I'm not sure if Joe has to approve them as well, but I've approved both those so far.
Okay. And I guess either Deanna or Rachel, we have an update on the new time capsule. I know there were some emails going back and forth on that.
Rachel, you can help us with that, please.
Yes, of course. There is a bin in the vestibule of Borough Hall. It is marked for the 2020 time capsule. If any organization and/or individual would like to contribute anything to that time capsule, please do go ahead and place it in the bin in the vestibule of Borough Hall, and we will have that available until December 1st. Or if you'd like to drop it off at my house, if that's easier for you, I'm at 1155 Corinne Terrace. I'd also just like to remind folks that the Levi Corey Village shop is open Fridays and Saturdays. It will be open November 20th and 21st from 10 to 3. And then in December on the 4th and 5th and 18th and 19th, also from 10 to 3. Face masks, limited numbers of people will be allowed in. There's temperature checks and hand sanitizing will be required. So please do stop by for some holiday shopping if you can. Thank you.
Okay, so at this point, I guess we have a reminder that our next meeting is November 17th, which is next week.
Bills and claims, Mayor?
Yeah.
Bills and claims.
Oh, thank you. Got to pay some bills. Renee?
All right. Be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of Mountainside that the following bills of the persons named and for the amount stated below have been duly audited and found to be correct this 10th day of November 2020. The same be paid after council's review, if and when funds are available, and that the mayor, council president, administrator, and treasurer are hereby authorized and directed to sign and deliver warrants for same. And that's in the amount of $337,410.11.
Okay, we got a motion to pay the bills. Do we have a second?
Second.
Call the council, please.
Councilwoman Andre,
Yes.
Councilman Dierkes,
Yes.
Councilman Messler,
Yes.
Councilwoman Pacifico,
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater,
Yes.
Councilman Turner.
Yes.
Okay, so now at this point, does any, again, a reminder that our next meeting is November 17th, which is a week from tonight. We have invocation with Councilwoman Pater. And at this point, are there any council comments? Okay, so I guess at this point, is there any audience that needs to participate? Matt?
We're on a 15, we're on a 15-second delay.
We do have one person that had called in. Last four digits 9391. If you would like to speak, please press *6. State your name and address. I'm assuming they do not want to speak.
I don't see any requests on my end either.
All right, so at this point, we're going to have a motion to go into exec, whereas I found my notice, by the way, Martha. Whereas the Open Public Meeting Act of the state of New Jersey permits the public to be excluded from certain matters to be discussed by the governing body. Whereas the mayor and council desire to discuss litigation, contracts, and personnel, which are matters where the exclusion of the public is permitted. Whereas public disclosure of the results of this discussion will be made as soon as the matters discussed have been resolved by the governing body of the Borough of Mountainside. Now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of Mountainside that the aforesaid matter shall be discussed in closed session upon adoption of this resolution. And I believe it's contracts and personnel. So we need a motion to go into exec.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Okay, so we're going to switch it over and go into exec, okay? Okay, this is a continuation of our public meeting for November the 10th, 2020. The item on our agenda is the appointment of a full-time senior citizen coordinator. My understanding is that the A&E committee met on this. Bob, you want to tell us what happened at that meeting?
Yes, Mayor. The A&E committee met.
I want to ask why this is in the public session and the DPW was in the executive session.
If you recall, and while we were in exec, John said because Kim was on that we had to go into public.
But why? Should we be doing that, John?
I'm sorry, Rachel? Yes, we should be, yes, we should be doing that. In other words, Kim had the option of either allowing the governing body to go in executive session without Kim's presence, or if Kim wanted to be present, then to have the discussion be in a public meeting. Kim elected to be present, so we have to do it in a public meeting.
Well, that's fine with me. I just wish I would have known that.
Well, I think we just figured that out when we were in exec. Rachel.
Yeah, I just realized that, Rachel, when I realized that Kim was participating in the discussion.
It's frustrating. Okay.
Okay, so the committee met a few weeks ago and discussed with the borough administrator and the senior citizen coordinator the need for the position to go from a part-time position to a full-time position. Currently, for the last 6 months, the senior citizen coordinator has been really helping out the seniors with food services and food deliveries and well checks and some health-related programs that can be safely done in public areas and stuff like that. And the question was, when the COVID ends eventually, which, probably for the seniors won't be for a long time, what will the position entail? And during that time frame, there was a bunch of items that were given as additional programs that will be ran, better programs will be ran for the seniors, including the fact that there's a lot more seniors associated with the senior programs because they're being helped by the senior coordinator and by a lot of volunteers that are doing work. So the committee basically said that they were looking to move forward with giving the position a trial period and, make sure things are working out and there's bigger programs and more things that can be done. And Kim was going to, she gave us a list of programs she would initially start running and timeframes that she would run them in, and then other programs that she would like to get going as time allowed. Right now, she's been working more like a full-time employee for the last 6 months, way more than a full-time employee. And her additional time has been picked up by the CARES Act because she's helping out the seniors because of the COVID-related problems that are facing them. And we've had numerous positive comments from seniors. All the council people, or at least council people who are there, and the mayor and the seniors really appreciate the programs that are being ran and how they're being ran. It was typically before Kim was in a position, it was a part-time job that was staffed but not cared for, and she's doing a fantastic job on that committee and in that job. And I think if anybody else on the committee wants to speak up, but that's kind of where it was.
I think Renee's on the committee, but I lost contact with Rachel. So Renee, if you can speak for the committee.
Well, the only thing I was just going to say, Bob, and this may change. I just wanted to add one aspect here. Pfizer made a big announcement yesterday. And so we might have a vaccine very soon, within a month. And I think some of the people that they'll be giving it to first will be seniors. So the COVID thing might be going away much faster for seniors.
Mm-hmm. What I heard was that they were going to give it to, first it was going to the people in the assisted living facilities. Then it was going to the frontline essential workers. And then it was going to be distributed to the general public. They're talking about the general public. Once they start rolling it out, it'll be for about 3 months.
And just so everybody knows, the article that I read today regarding that vaccine, the trial that Pfizer currently has underway in the stage 3, that is very promising at over 90% success. None of the participants contained any comorbidity issues. They were all healthy individuals that participated. There was not one person in the study that had any type of comorbidity issue or underlying medical issue. So I don't know how soon that type of a vaccine is going to be available for senior citizens that may have an underlying health condition, and they're only coming out with 50 million doses?
Well, I think the issue is not when they're going to solve COVID.
Yeah.
No, it's not gonna
There's a
solve
lot of
COVID.
work that's being done right now by Kim, despite the fact that we have COVID. I am sure that once that issue is resolved and people start getting vaccinated, there are other programs that that Kim can start to run, but that's a ways down the road. So
I agree, and I would like to see, I mean, it's a great program that the town is running with the help of Kim, the meals that are being delivered. Not only does it help the senior citizens, I'm sure it has bailed out the local restaurants that wanted to participate. Once this goes away, this COVID, if it does go away, I think we're looking at a minimum of a year. But if people do decide to get vaccinated, and there's enough vaccinations to go around for everybody, that doesn't mean that type of a program should end. I think it's a wonderful program that the town is offering to the seniors as well as the local restaurants.
But Keith, I think it was our understanding that Kim was going to try to also expand some of the programs she was going to offer to the.
But in addition to any expanded programs, why would we, give up on this one?
Yeah, I don't think anybody was advocating getting rid of this one at this point in time.
Okay. Okay, great.
If I could just add one thing, also rolled into the duties, Kim already is our municipal alliance coordinator, and for that she receives a stipend. Those responsibilities will become part of her regular job, and the stipend will be rolled into the salary. So the stipend will help offset part of her salary. It will not be a separate position as it is now.
Oh, that's good to know.
But I mean, I think that the committee was for it, and we were hoping to see the programs grow and become better for the seniors. The big population of seniors in Mountainside, and I think we should support them and help them. And there's a lot of good programs we already have in place. A lot of programs that can be expanded, and I think the committees was definitely willing to give it a shot and hope that the future brings that it's a better program for our seniors and continues to grow. And so
maybe Kim, you can maybe chime in and tell us what new programs that you're also considering to expand the programs that we offer for senior citizens.
Yes. The first one I would like to do once COVID settles down and my hours become more regular, or January happens, I'd like to implement a well check system through the first alert for seniors who wish to participate. And what that would entail is a phone call, motorized phone call that would go directly to the senior's home, and press 1 to acknowledge this call. They can also connect to me. There's all different ways we can do this using First Alert and setting up a kind of like a phone system for the seniors. So that's one of them. That's going to take quite a lot of effort to implement that and get that going. I have researched it with the county, and it is a great idea. I think they, with their assistance, I can implement that. I also want to do some outside activities with the seniors during the weather. When it's nice, we want to do a senior Olympics and do some connecting generations outside, hikes with the seniors and the kids. I also want to do a movie and lunch. So now with the restaurants we're all very connected and they're very willing to help, and it is helping them so much. We could, if we wanted to, we could do a movie and a lunch during the day for them, and they can have their own little container that we would that they're purchasing now. Same idea, and they would it would be delivered, and they would place their order, same meal delivered, and same movie they're going to watch, and I think that would be a lot of fun. There's an arthritis class I would like to incorporate. A lot of the seniors suffer with arthritis. That'll be something that I would like to incorporate pretty early as soon as we get opening up and moving forward with without COVID involved. And We just did a tech class this past weekend, an outside tech class, and it was so well received. The volunteers were seniors in high school, and they did a phenomenal job, and it was very, very successful. And the seniors, not only did the seniors enjoy it, the children, the kids enjoyed it as well. They said they would do it at any time. So they volunteered doing that. And this is a great way for the seniors to get volunteer hours for college as well. So there's some of the items I want to incorporate. And I'm also doing the grant. So my predecessor only did part of the CDBG grant, and now I do the entire thing. So from soup to nuts, I do the application, I do all the quarterly reports, all the documentation, all the meetings. So all of that is done by myself. And also with the Municipal Alliance, that's a big undertaking. There's a lot of paperwork with that, a lot of hours with that job. So that's not gonna change. The county likes a lot of paper. So the reports are pretty massive, to say the least. Do you have any specific questions for me?
I just want to ask a general question, Paul. Kim would be an employee at will, correct?
Absolutely. Well, everyone is.
Well, the police aren't.
Except for the police, right. All the other employees are.
Okay, I just want to make sure we got clarification on that.
Actually, I want to weigh in on this for just a minute. I was not involved in the A&E deliberations at all, but over the last year, I was involved in a case tangentially where Kim was centrally involved, and which dramatized or underscored to me the importance of having a person doing the things that Kim does and relating to the seniors in town the way that Kim has. That was truly dramatic. And this was a situation where a senior who was otherwise essentially isolated, in the sense that she had no family to speak of and no friends to speak of. And this unfortunate person had become the victim of an unscrupulous lawyer who was taking control of her financial situation and her financial life. And it really was a very unfortunate development that was occurring. To her great credit, Kim was in sufficient contact with this older person to see what was going on, bring it to the attention of the appropriate authorities, and ultimately, through the intercession of the Chancery Court in Union County, I mean, that's how serious the whole thing got. Have this lawyer relieved of what he was trying to do. And what it dramatized to me was the importance of having somebody in town. You know, people, some senior citizens get older, their friends die, they get sick, they don't have a lot of family, and they tend to become isolated. And it's really important for us to have in town somebody who is in contact with that community, sensitive to those people, and able really to do the very salutary thing that Kim did. So I just wanted to mention that. I wasn't involved in the A&E deliberations at all, but I thought this was a really example of the value that having a person in Kim's position brings to our ability, and I say our, I mean the municipal government's ability to service our residents.
I thought when you said our, John, you were referring to senior citizens.
Well, I might have included myself in that group.
Thank you, John. Yes, and there is another investigation going on presently, so.
I mean, I'm very serious about it. I mean, what happens, I've seen it quite apart from Mountainside and Kim, et cetera. I have seen it in other examples in my professional life. What happens is that people get older, as I said before, especially when they don't have relatives or close relatives, and their friends die, their spouse dies, they get older, and all of a sudden they're isolated, and there's this predatory group out there just going around looking for people in those circumstances. And when the town or the municipality has somebody who, the cops do it a little bit, but their capacity or ability to relate to seniors is very limited. So when we have somebody who, a senior citizen person who is really out there relating to the seniors and has the time to look at individual cases, et cetera, I think it's a very important municipal service that we're providing.
Thank you.
I don't know if anybody else has any more questions. I think the committee recommendation was to move forward, so.
Are we voting on this tonight or making a decision tonight?
No, we would vote on this in public. I want to know if there's anyone that doesn't think we should expand this, and if there is, I'd like to know why.
It's not that I don't want to expand anything for the seniors. I just don't feel I'm comfortable with expanding or doing anything during this COVID time, because I don't find it's necessary at this time for whatever reason I have. I think I think there's a need there. I don't think there's not a need, but doing it right now, I think would be premature. That's all. Should we reconsider this come January or after, as the virus expels itself? I think we should probably reconsider it then. But right now, I don't feel comfortable with making a decision.
I currently do work more than my 20 hours a week, and I volunteer usually around 5 hours a week on top of my 28 that I'm doing for the meals. So when it switches over, it's actually going from one thing to the other, and they're saying that they want to continue the meals. So that would actually leave more reason to expand the position at this point.
Again, I'm not disagreeing with that, Kim. I'm not disagreeing with that, but I just feel that, if you have your hours and you know how to deal and manage your hours and time management, but I just think during this situation, for us to responsibly give somebody more hours at this time during COVID is irresponsible. That's all. I just
okay, so let's talk about, you got the document that I did with my hours. What would you like to cut? The first
I did not get your document
meals?
with your hours. I did not get your document with your hours.
The committee received that.
No, actually you did. You were copied on at the end of the October 6, 2020 email with Kim Moriak's duties that she did.
That's a job description to me.
Everyone on council got that.
To me, that was her job description. That wasn't additional hours or so.
Well, but the top, it says she requires more than 20 hours to do what she's currently doing. So I think
then I'd like to reevaluate it, but to give it at this point, and I'm not minimizing anything you do.
I would like to know I would like to know what you would cut, because I'm not going to continue to work all these extra hours and bank hours and not be able to take vacation. If you're not supporting me, then I don't need to do this. So what would you like to cut? What programs do you want, Deanna, Andre, want to cut from the seniors?
I wouldn't like to cut anything from the seniors, but I'd like to reevaluate your job description and what you're doing right now, only because we're in COVID right now, Kim.
Well, now's the best time to wait until January. I don't think it's irresponsible.
I'm not saying January.
Can I say something?
Yeah, but could I just finish? I don't think it's irresponsible to put somebody on full time now. Now is when we need Kim. If we want to reevaluate it 6 months from now or a year from now, when COVID is done and all of these other wonderful programs that Kim's talking about don't come to fruition, then we could deal with not having a full-time employee. Now, it would be irresponsible not to make her full-time right now. I mean, I don't know what else we can, everything that I'm seeing and hearing, the letters that I've been receiving from the residents that this program that Kim has been helping out, it would be irresponsible of us to discontinue anything that Kim is doing right now. And to wait until January, like you just suggested, that would be irresponsible.
I appreciate your feelings.
I think Donna, I want to
Yeah,
chime in.
you know, to Deanna's defense, some of this stuff moving forward cannot happen until we have nice weather anyway. That's first and foremost. You know, everything that Kim basically said that she wants to start to do, can't start to do till we get nice weather. And we still don't know what's going on with COVID. If we get shut down, then what happens? We don't know what's going to go. Nobody's saying not to expand it. I agree with Deanna. I think this needs to be revisited after January to see where we're going with all of this.
But she's been putting in those extra hours during COVID. COVID hasn't gone away. All of these extra hours have developed during the COVID crisis. We're still, you know, hate to be the bearer of bad news, this isn't going away for another year. So to cut her hours now would not be responsible. Some of the activities, maybe there are different activities that she can do that don't require warmer weather for the senior citizens. But I think we need to give Kim that opportunity to tell us what she can and cannot do due to a weather change.
Well, we don't want to cut her hours, Keith.
Yes, you do.
I think what I'd like to do right now is I think we need to also hear from our residents. And I have a number of letters that I received from residents, which I think is important for us to consider. The first one is from Norman and Yvonne Habib. Mr. Habib did pass away just recently, but he wrote this letter before that. We're writing to share our appreciation to Kim Moriak for her amazing dedication to senior citizens in Mountainside. My wife Yvonne and I have lived in Mountainside for 58 years, and we are now and are both now in our 90s. Kim has been like a crown jewel to the Mountainside seniors. For years, until the pandemic hit, we regularly attended Mars meetings and activities, and those programs coordinated by Kim were always enjoyable and served a main social outlet for us and many other seniors. We used the senior shuttle bus for transportation to medical appointments and for other errands, and Kim always made the experience so smooth and effortless as possible for everyone. When we experienced power and telephone outages here at home and weren't reachable by our children, my son Bill in Boston has looked up Kim's number and contacted her to see if she could check in on us to be sure we were safe and okay. During the pandemic, she voluntarily checked in on us and other seniors in town. We were well and had meals. Our son, who was in from out of town this weekend, just commented on how helpful she's been and how much he values her cheerful assistance and attention to seniors in Mountainside such as us. She's always willing and eager to go above and beyond to help folks like us. And after seeing how much she's helping people during the pandemic, we wanted to pass along our gratitude. We appreciate if you could also share our message with the other Borough Council members. I also received a letter from Carmen Lido, I believe it's pronounced. I would like to take this opportunity to express my appreciation to Senior Program Coordinator and monitored by the Recreation Department and supervised by Kim Moriak, especially during this pandemic. The delicious weekly meals supplied by local restaurants and offered to seniors, set up by Kim Moriak and delivered by volunteers. Delivery is always on time and the volunteers walk to the front door, ring the doorbell, ensure the meals are given to the recipient. These meals are sometimes the only decent meals many Mountainside seniors eat since restaurants are closed. In addition to coordinating the restaurants, Ms. Moriak also set up delivery of fresh vegetables from Beechwood Garden to be included with the meals. This was definitely a pleasant surprise. Kim goes above and beyond her position by visiting many seniors, especially during the pandemic, to ensure their safety and well-being. I must praise Kim Moriak for her excellent service provided to Mountainside seniors, which she handles in addition to her regular work responsibilities. Next is one here from Janet Kelt. Janet, and she is the wife of Jay Kelt. I recently was asked if I was able, along with my husband Jay, to help out with the senior meals program. I am so grateful to be part of such a terrific program. Kudos to the mayor and council for establishing such a well-received program, and double kudos to Kim Moriak for the wonderful job she does in getting this program to work so smoothly. As a person who was just one of a handful of on the delivery end, I can only imagine the work that goes into getting it done and getting it done right. Because you know seniors, they can be quite vocal when something goes wrong. I have to tell you, I have many friends in surrounding towns like Westfield and Scotch Plains who I talk to about the senior food programs, and they are all very disappointed to find out that their town does not offer anything like this. Unfortunately, in many towns, the senior population, although a growing demographic, is often overlooked. Proud to say that is not the case here in Mountainside. They were amazed that the Mountainside was taking such steps to help out their seniors. And of course, we're not happy that their town did not. Way to go, Mountainside. As a pool member, and I guess now an official member of the Old Ladies Club down there, LOL, I can tell you that this food delivery program, and more importantly, Kim herself, has been a godsend to the seniors in town. Some seniors in town that have either been too afraid to leave their home or were just overwhelmed, weren't we all at times during this pandemic, would have really been lost. But Kim stepped up to the plate and was able to get this great program not only up and running, but keep it running very well. Of course, this food delivery is just one of many programs Kim handles for our seniors. There isn't a day that goes by that I go to the pool and I don't hear yet another story of how Kim has gone up and above her position to help some seniors out. They are also very grateful for all the time they have reached out to her, and she would go out of their way many times on her own time to make sure that she receives the assistance they needed. Her dedication to Mountainside and the seniors that she serves is amazing. Mountainside is extremely lucky to have a hardworking, caring individual working to help seniors in her town. I hope the mayor and council realize the value of Kim's, what a value asset Kim has become to our town and seniors. I can go on and on with these. Okay, I probably have another 10 that are very similar to the ones that I read. I can also tell you I've been approached by probably more than 20 people between church, going downtown to get breakfast, getting my dry cleaning, even at the opening of the time capsule the other day, where people have come up to me and commented what a great job Kim is doing. She's very caring, and they all appreciate it. So at this point, I have to say, I don't see any reason why it's not in the best interest of Mountainside to have Kim's role expanded to full time. As Keith said before, we need her more than ever. We can't wait. When COVID's over, she can't deliver the programs that she says she can deliver, then we'll have to reevaluate it. But I have full faith that Kim is going to not only go with the programs she's told us about, but she's going to come up with more programs. I mean, Kim has always been an innovator in coming up with programs. I mean, I point to the senior prom. What a great idea that was. She got the Watts Foundation to fund it. The 8th grade kids allowed her to use the gym after their dance. And she had the senior citizens there all dressed to the nines, dancing around the Beechwood, the Deerfield, I think it's a gym, no, the cafeteria. Mazzella's donated all the food. So Kim does an outstanding job. For us not to expand this role, I think sends a very bad signal to our seniors that we aren't supporting person that is so valuable and appreciated by all of them. So at this point, we've gone on, it's almost 10 o'clock. We plan on putting this on the agenda for the June 17th meeting, and whoever wants to vote for it, they should vote it. I fully support it. I don't have a vote. I don't see any reason why we don't expand this role. So,
Mayor, we have someone on the phone. I don't know why, if they want to talk.
I think that's Rachel.
Oh, is it Rachel?
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
That's her phone number, I think.
I didn't recognize the phone number, so.
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
Oh, no, maybe it's not. That's the wrong, I have a 340, but it's 1662. I don't know who it is.
Let them on. It's public, right?
Your phone number ends in 0232. You can press *6 to unmute yourself. Speak your name and address at this time.
It sounds like they just are interested in hearing our meeting and don't want to make any comments. So at this point, we've been on, so like I said, it's almost 10 o'clock. Let's get a motion to adjourn so we can all, I can eat dinner.
Yeah.
So we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
Meeting's adjourned.